is Dr. Shams, the first year pediatrics postgraduate. I am doing this presentation under the guidance of Dr. Meghri Suresh Kumar, Chief of Pediatrics, Dr. Puvaragi, Chief of IMCU, and Dr. Elrazi and Sudhakar, Chief of Pulmonology, ICH. So, in the midst of Missy came a 4-year-old female child with complaints of fever for the past 7 days and loose stools and vomiting for the past 2 days. The fever was low grade, it was intermittent, it was not associated with chills, and it lived on medications. Vomiting and loose stools was present for 2 days. There was no blood, it was non-bilious. The child complained of abdomen pain, the mother complained of red lips. There was no other significant history in this child. The perinatal events were uneventful. The child was developmentally normal, adequately immunized. The family history showed no significance. There was no history of any contact with an open case of TB or COVID. Anthropometrically, the child's nutrient status was normal as per WHO growth charts. So on examination, the child was alert, it was oriented, it was febrile, a pallor was present, a bilateral posterior cervical lymphadenopathy was there, it was non-tender, non-matted, mobile, multiple nodes were palpable, and the largest one being 1.5 cross 1 centimeters. There was no other nodes palpable, glossitis was present, erythematous lips were present, there was no conjunctival condition, and all the other examination was normal. So the vitals were stable, there was no shock, there was no hypotension, the child maintained saturation and room air. A systemic examination, the first and second heart sounds were heard, but it was muffled, there was no murmur, the other systemic examinations were normal. So a 4-year-old female child with complaints of fever, vomiting, and loose stools, with glossitis, with red lips, and a bilateral cervical lymphadenopathy. In this season, a probable diagnosis was MISC was made. So with this diagnosis, we did Tier 1 and Tier 2 workup, which revealed a neutrophilic leukocytosis, thrombocytosis, an ESR of 92, CRP of 112, ferritin of 400, all of which were elevated. Sodium was 131, and the other investigations were normal. We did an X-ray. The X-ray revealed a massive heart, probably a collection of some fluid. So we did an echo. So on seeing this echo, there was a massive effusion with the features of early tamponade, and as we can see, there were septations and fibrinous glands in the echo. The coronaries were also dilated, hence fitting into the criteria of Missy. The child had fever for more than 3 days with glossitis, coronary involvement, GI problems, and elevated ESR and CRP. The COVID antibody we sent was also positive, and the other foci of infections was ruled out. So, having this as Missy, we treated as per Missy protocol, and we started on IVIG at 2 grams per kg and a pulse methylprednisolone at 10 mg per kg under antibiotic cover, and an aspirin was started at 3 mg per kg. Meanwhile, addressing the massive effusion, we did a pericardiocentesis which revealed hemorrhagic fluid initially, and then it was stroke-colored fluid. We sent the samples for cytology, biochemistry, CBNAT, cultures, and NG. The pericardial analysis revealed an exudative pattern with an elevated proteins. There was no malignant cells. There was no organism growth. The CBNAT was also negative. Okay, so this case was diagnosed as Missy, but this Missy had a very large pericardial effusion. So are we missing something? So should we consider other possibilities? We considered the other possibilities like TB. The large effusion with fibrinous stance and exudative pattern was in favor of TB, but there was no contact history and the CBNAT was negative and the coronaries were dilated. Could it have been an evolving SOGR and connective tissue disorder? There was an effusion, there was elevated markers, but there was no arthritis and it was for a shorter duration. Malignancy was still an option with a large effusion and hemorrhagic tap, but the fluid relieved no malignant cells. So we proceeded with Missy as our diagnosis, and we gave IVIG. The fever settled within 24 hours. The repeat echo still showed massive effusion. Hence, we did a pericardial window. The samples were, the biopsy was sent, which revealed chronic pericarditis, and there was no granuloma. The CBNAT we sent from this sample was also negative. So considering this case as Missy, we treated it as per Missy protocol, and just before discharge, the child became asymptomatic. The echo coronaries were normal with minimal pericardial effusion. Hence, we discharged the child with oral prednisolone and aspirin. At the discharge, as we can see in the X-ray on the right side, there is no effusion. The X-ray was normal, and hence we discharged the child on oral prednisolone and aspirin. 1 week later, the child came for follow-up. The child was asymptomatic, echo was normal, the markers were reducing. Hence, we tapered prednisolone and aspirin was continued. 1 month after discharge, the child was still asymptomatic, the echo was normal, the markers were normal. Hence, we tapered and stopped prednisolone and aspirin was continued. So, is that all it? Is it just a case of MIS-C? Are we missing something? Why should MIS-C case have a large pericardial effusion? Usually in MIS-C, there will be minimal to moderate effusion. But in this case, we had a large effusion. So there are rarely been, there are studies that have been reported now showing massive effusions as well as hemorrhagic effusions. But it is mostly in adults and adolescents. So is this case be a MIS-C with massive effusion? No. We sent some samples 1 month back, which became positive. It is the MGIT we sent from the pericardial fluid, which revealed culture growth, and the child was diagnosed as pericardial tuberculosis. The child was started on ATT. So now this case is this is a case of MIS-C with pericardial tuberculosis. What is the take-home messages? Tuberculosis can occur pre, during, and post MIS-C as well. Whenever there's a strong suspicion of tuberculosis, we should always do a culture. We had 3 CP-nats that became negative, but since we had a suspicion of TB from that large effusion and that fibrinous stance, we sent an MGIT from the pericardial fluid, which became positive, and the child is now on ATT. And finally, even in the midst of MIS-C, we should never forget our tropical infections. Thank you.